mine's green. I got a green thumb. You want some help with gardening? Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. This week I am really excited because I am currently house sitting for one of my friends. So, new location, very different than normal, but I am so excited to get to live by myself for over a week, and I would like you to join me and come along as I do some reading and some other things. I brought a good chunk of books that I may or may not get to while I'm here. But I thought I would do a little reading vlog so that way we can see what I get up to reading wise. So this is going to mostly be a reading vlog, but also just whatever I feel like. Before we get into doing anything else, I would like to show you the books that I brought. First off, I'm currently reading the third book in the Edge of Collapse series. The second official book, third if you count the novella. But I'm currently reading that on my Kindle, and I am really enjoying it. I am like 80% through of the way. It's about like this EMP happens, which like is this weird flare thing, a nuclear thing. I don't remember how it like technically works, supposedly, but basically it makes all devices stop working, like cars stop working, phones stop working, electricity stops working, and it's the dead of winter. So people are dying, people need food, people are turning on each other. And the first book was about this lady who had been abducted and had been kept in this guy's basement. And whenever everything shuts down, she can escape. So she escapes and we follow her. But her husband and son, we're following them in the second book. We're kind of seeing what they're getting up to in their original town. And I'm honestly really, really enjoying this. Like, the first book ended up being like slashery-ish, and I don't really love that. But this book, I'm just super intrigued to see what this man and his like 8-year-old son are getting up to. We're following them, and we're also following this like 16-year-old girl who lives next to them. And the book starts off with them on a ski loft, and everything shuts down while they're on the ski lift. And then people just start dying because they're stuck up there and it's super cold. So like this girl's grandpa dies on the ski lift. So things are off to a wonderful start. But that's what I'm currently reading right now on my Kindle. But I also have 4 books that I brought physically to try and, get through my physical TBR while I'm here. First off, we have Romanov by Nadine Brands. This book is basically a retelling of Anastasia, with some like spells and smuggling and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure. We'll find out together. Secondly, I ended up bringing Auschwitz's I keep wanting to say library. Auschwitz's Lullaby. I'm not entirely sure what this book is about. All I know is it's another World War II book, and I happen to like those. So I thrifted this months back, and I need to get through it. So we're gonna possibly read this book. Then we have Britt Marie Was Here, which is like, it feels like a sequel to A Man Called Ove. I don't think it is, but the covers are like weirdly similar for some reason, and I don't know why. But I am super, super intrigued about this book. I'm not entirely sure what it's about, but we're basically following Britt Marie, and seeing what happens in her life. A Man Called Ove was wonderful. It was super fun, and it was just a great time, and it was like, wasn't really plot, more vibes. So I'm assuming that's what this book is about. As I get into it, I will tell you what Britt Marie is up to. This book is the one that I am the most excited for out of all these, so definitely will be picking this one up ASAP. And then I brought How Do You Live, which this book is what inspired The Boy and the Heron, the newest Studio Ghibli movie. So I bought this book thinking it was like an exact replica of The Boy and the Heron. No, it's not. I don't know what this book's about, but it's not a direct replica of The Boy and the Heron. So, yeah, I need to read it so that way I know if I want to keep it. This isn't what I thought it was, so I'm not sure if I want to read it now. But, so, we will find that out. So we're going to definitely be picking up, I really want to pick up both of these two. The other two were just kind of like, I need to read them, so if I have time, I will. I'm going to do some stuff in the kitchen, make a couple things, and then soon it'll be time for supper, but we'll probably do some reading before I end up cooking supper, and yeah. So I will update you whenever I decide to start reading something. So I just finished The Edge of Madness, which I realized upon finishing it, Whenever I said I didn't know what this book's title was, I was serious. Whenever it ended, it was like, thanks for reading Edge of Madness. And I was like, oh, that's what it was called? Like, I literally never even looked at the title of this book. Like, why did I not do that? I don't know. I was just too into it. I never even looked at the title. But I have some thoughts. Lots of people are dying. That's wonderful. Not as violently as last time. The first book had a lot more like violent death on paper. This one, it happened more off of the page. I mean, our characters were like in a church covering themselves with blood so that way shooters wouldn't kill them. Other than that, I have a gripe. With this book. So we're in a small town. This entire town has no power, nothing. Everyone's like there's no power. But there is this one like little suburb that has power. It has like 12 houses that have power. So they're giving these houses to like specific people because it runs on like solar panels. So they're giving these houses to like specific families. But hypothetically, why are they not like getting groups of families and stuffing them in these houses? Because these houses have heat, they have like light, they have everything that no one else has. Why are we just putting individual families in these houses when you could like fill these houses to the brim where it's like not a long-term solution, but like multiple families could be having heat and warmth and light instead of just one family? Do you know how many families you could fit in 12 houses? Like, you could do so many. You could like have a house for like a bunch of elderly people because the elderly people are dying in their houses because they're freezing to death. Like, why are we not using these houses more efficiently? I don't understand. It's bothering me if you can't tell. But I just find these circumstances really intriguing because I like to problem solve. So I'm like, okay, if we lost all power, if we lost everything, how would we fix this? What would we do? So like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. And then no, this is a terrible idea. How dare you guys do this? So I'm having fun. I feel like I'd still give it a 4 stars like the last book because 4 stars for me is just generally like, I enjoyed the book. Like, it's not like, whoa, that book was amazing, but it's also like, I have no real gripes with this book. It was a really good book. Like, I'm going to continue this series. It's kind of going to be annoying that I have to read other books before I continue this series, but I think I'm going to go inside, grab Britt Marie Was Here, and then come back outside and read because wow, it's so pretty out. Like, there's no clouds. I'm reading under this tree on the grass and I just get to look out into the field with trees. It's so pretty. I love it so much. I get to watch cats running around because my friend's cats are outside. So that's great. But yeah, I'm going to go inside and get the next book that we're going to read and then I'll be right back. It is now Saturday morning. I am enjoying being outside before it gets deathly hot out here because it's currently still in the 70s, and just give it like 2 hours and it's going to be almost 100 degrees. So I'm enjoying being outside while I can. I am about 8 chapters into Britt Marie Was Here, and now that I'm this far in, I can actually tell you what it's about. So basically we're just following Britt Marie, this older lady who something happened with her relationship with her husband, and now she is desperate to like restart her life, like kind of start it back over, and she wanted a job, and the only job that was available was this temporary position in this really small town called Borg where she can run a recreation center. But this is like such a small town that like they shut down the post office, they shut down the school, they shut down the library, they shut down everything. This town is basically non-existent. But here comes Britt Marie. She is going to fix up the recreation center. She's pretty like socially awkward and it's just really entertaining. This definitely feels like a Frederick Bachman book. He has such like identifiable writing style, I feel like. So I'm really enjoying it. It is going pretty well. I'm going to continue reading this while I get to enjoy being outside for a little bit, surrounded by the animals. And yeah, I will touch base with you later whenever I have gotten a little bit farther into it. So I'm officially halfway through Britt Marie's here. We are getting to know Britt Marie more. We're getting to know the kids more. She is now the coach for the kids' soccer team. She doesn't like soccer. We're getting to see her kind of bonding with them. We're getting to see the kids' backstories. There are a lot of characters, and I'm for some reason having an issue like figuring out who's who and remembering what character is what, but I'm pretty sure that's my own issue and not an issue with this book. But I am really enjoying it. I love Frederick Bachman's writing. So yeah, I am very excited to finish this book up this week. I feel like this vlog has turned into me reading outside. Like, I just love being outside so much, and it's just really hard to be outside in the summer here because during the day it's miserable. Like right now I feel like I'm drenched in sweat, but it's like not too hot, so it's bearable to be outside. So I don't know, I don't like being cooped up in the house. I want to be outside. I want to be able to just live and breathe, but I feel like this vlog is getting kind of repetitive because of that. I'm like either talking outside or reading outside. I feel like there's no variety, so I'm sorry about that. I hope you like outside as much as I do. So the dog I'm supposed to be watching is entirely on the other side of the field, so I'm gonna go call her back, and then we're gonna go inside and I will update you whenever I have made even more progress. You ready? Let's go. Okay, sit. I thought I would show you more detail what I did with my oil pastels. The first thing I did was this tree. That's what I started on. I'm kind of happy with it, but that's not exactly what I wanted. It's more cartoony than I wanted. But I am overall decently happy with these flowers. I am very, very, very critical with my art. I don't know why I am, but it's just, I am very much a perfectionist, so I will look at it and see all of the mistakes, even though it's my first time ever touching pastels. Never done these before, so this is my first time. They're kind of annoying. Like, they're not clean at all. I actually started doing it on top of my friend's like table runner, and then realized, oh shoot, I should not do this. So I need to make sure that that's clean. But I am excited to continue working with these. I saw a bunch of stuff on Pinterest with oil pastels, so I was like, I need to give this a try. And I have discovered this week while I'm here that if I don't have some kind of creative outlet, I will die. Yesterday I was feeling really down, so I started like cooking and baking, and I just immediately felt so much better. I felt amazing. So now I have an actual artistic outlet as well. So this week is going to be great. Gonna do some reading, gonna do some art. I'm going to put all this stuff away now because the pastels are everywhere and they're messy. So yeah, I will update you once I actually start reading something again, because I plan on doing that pretty soon. It is time for my reading update today. At work, I ended up reading up to 30% of The Edge of Darkness, which is the next Edge of Collapse book that I was talking about earlier. So I am now 30% of the way through that one. I am enjoying it. Honestly, I feel like my enjoyment has like slightly gone down from the other two books, but it's only 30% of the way through. Things could happen. We're following a lot of POVs because the first book was one set of characters, the next book was another set of characters, and now in this book, we're following all of those characters at once. So we're at least getting like 6 POVs. So it's a lot. It's going slower just because there are a lot of point of views that we're following. But while I was at work, I also listened to the first almost full half of Auschwitz's Lullaby. And that one is going. It's going. I'm not entirely enjoying it. Like, it's not terrible, but something about the way it's written bothers me. This story is terrible, like in the sense of it's a historical fiction about a mom and her kids getting sent to this prison, set in World War II. It was terrible. Like what is happening is not good, but I feel like there's no emotion in the story, if that makes sense. Like the way it's written so like plainly, and normally sometimes plain writing is okay. Like in a thriller or something, like you're not trying to get connected to the characters. But I feel like in this kind of story, I want to be connected to the characters, and that's just not happening. Like, I feel like I should care so much more about these specific characters than I do. I think it might have something to do with the audiobook. I don't know, the audiobook just feels kind of disconnected, but I am listening to that just because it's going to help me get through this book a lot faster. And normally the audiobook doesn't really weigh on if I enjoy the book or not. I am liking it more as I get into it, but like the first like third of the book, I was like just kind of making myself listen to it. But anyway, apart from that, I did just finish Britt Marie Was Here. I was just thinking about this book in the sense of, wow, it's not as good as A Man Called Ove. Like, I don't know what the difference is, but this one just isn't hitting as hard for me. And then immediately, someone dies. And things just start happening, and things are sad. And wow, this book just like kind of punches you. But at the same time, it still is not as good for me as A Man Called Ove. Like, I did not feel connected to the characters in the same way. It just didn't hit me personally as hard, but it's still objectively a good book. I'm probably going to give it about 4 stars. I don't honestly, I'm just in a 4-star mood recently. Like, all books are pretty good. Like, I have no real complaints. They just haven't like hit me super, super hard. And so this book is definitely a good one. I love Frederick Bachman, and I can't wait to pick up one of his next books. The next one that I own is it has a really long title. I don't remember what it's called, but it has something to do with a grandmother. I'll put it up here somewhere, the title of the book. but that's the next one I own. But then he also has the Beartown trilogy, which I started listening to Beartown a while back, and it was like really slow, but I feel like I might like it if I read it more physically. So I don't know. We'll see eventually, but I don't own that one yet. I think I'm going to now pick up my pastels and do some more art and creativity stuff. And I will update you later. I'm probably going to continue reading this book later outside just because it's really nice outside. I just would like to wait for it to be not miserable. So, as soon as it is nice and not steaming hot outside, I will take that book and go read outside, most likely, and then I will update you later. Okay, so is oil pastels to some degree simpler than painting? Yes. But I don't normally have the paint all over my arm. I mean, paint is kind of more like, messy just because it's liquid, but like powder is honestly more annoying than liquid. Like, guess my arm is green. I got a green thumb. You want some help with gardening? Okay, so it is now Thursday evening. It is like almost 5 o'clock. I just got back to the house because I finally went back to the gym. I hadn't been to the gym in so long. So I finally went back, and that was wonderful. That was great. But I did not update at all yesterday because as soon as I got off of work, I went and picked up one of my friends and we hung out basically the entire rest of the day. So I did not get any film footage, but I did get books read. I finished Auschwitz Lullaby, and that one ended up being interesting. One thing about this book was the fact that I realized it was a true story, like not in the sense of like biography, but in the sense of like this character was a real person, her kids were real, everyone in that camp that had a part in the book was real. So like everything that happened in that book was real. So should it have hit harder than it did? Yes, I still stand by the fact that the writing style could have been better. I'm not entirely sure how that happened, what happened there, but yeah. So I think I'm gonna end up giving that book a 3.5 stars. I wish I could give it more than that. It just didn't hit me personally quite as hard as some other historical fictions have in the past. So, but I also just today finished the next book that I was reading in the Edge of Collapse series. That one ended up being good. Uh yeah, it was honestly my least favorite out of all of them that I've read so far. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to decide to rate it just because this felt like an in-between book. Not much actually happened. It was more just recovering from what had happened in the previous books, and so it felt like a weird middle book. So hopefully the next one will be like more, I can't say more action packed because people are constantly dying. Things are constantly happening. It's honestly terrible, but like plot wise, like in the sense of a plot, this one didn't feel like it had a huge plot. It feels like we're just with these people watching and seeing what happens, which is technically what's happening, but like it's a book, it's a story. I would like an actual storyline to be happening. So hopefully the next book will pick that back up. I honestly immediately downloaded the next one just to keep going because I didn't have anything else to read necessarily. Along with that, I did pick up the audiobook for How Do You Live, and I started listening to that. So far, it's kind of a 50-50 book. It's like we are following this boy named Copper as he's just kind of going through his life. At the same time, we're also just getting like some essays kind of sort of about life and stuff. So it's called How Do You Live? And so we're kind of just following him growing up. I think I'm not very many chapters in, but I kind of think we're following just him, and then interspersed in between that some good life lessons and things that we should know. So we'll see how that goes. I'm probably gonna just continue listening to that one, because I probably would be bored from it. Last physical book I have is Romanov. I might put it off more again, just because I don't care at the moment. Because if I wanted to pick up fantasy, I would pick up the tandem read for Throne of Glass. But I want to make an entirely different video for that, so I'm going to pick up that next week. So I think I might just read the next Edge of Collapse book. I might just read that while I'm here, because I leave on Saturday, and so today and tomorrow are my last 2 days here. So I think I might just read those, and then whenever I get back home, I will read the tandem read. So yeah, that is my current update. I'm just going to go take a shower from work and get supper going and doing some reading outside again after it's bearable. So that's the plan for tonight, and I will let you know whenever I have some more updates. It is now Friday afternoon. I just got back from work, and I think I'm going to wrap the video up here. I leave here tomorrow morning, but I don't feel like doing any official reading anymore. I am just wanting to chill this afternoon, probably do some crocheting and drawing, but I am just going to enjoy having this last little bit of time here and not want to focus on any video related things. With that being said, I read 3 full books here, and that's pretty good. I read one physically, I read one audio, and then I read one digitally. So we got all of the realms here. First off, I read Britt Marie Was Here. I already gave my more detailed thoughts earlier, but this is going to be a 4 stars. It was still really good. I did enjoy it. Love Frederick Bachman as always. This one just didn't personally hit me as hard as A Man Called Ove. But yes, it was really good. And then I listened to Auschwitz Lullaby, and this one, again, the story itself was good. It was based on a true story, which is terrible. This book is some really, really bad things happen in this book, obviously. But just the way it was written, I couldn't connect to it. I didn't feel the emotion. But if you do like historical fiction and this sounds interesting to you, I mean, give it a shot. Maybe it's personally me. On Storygraph, I was looking at some reviews, and some people do really like it. So if this sounds like something that would be interesting to you, go check it out. And then I read the 3rd book in the Edge of Collapse series. This book was my least favorite out of all the ones I've read so far, but I am enjoying the series. I am going to continue the series. It's all on Kindle Unlimited if you have that and it sounds intriguing to you. I also got this far into How Do You Live, and I'm really intrigued to see where it goes. We're just following Copper, 15-year-old boy after his dad dies. It's a Japanese classic. It's said to be Miyazaki's favorite childhood book, so I am very intrigued to see where it goes. I just am not going to be finishing this before I leave. So, with that being said, that is the end of this video. If you stayed this long, thank you so much. You are amazing. I love you so much. I hope you will stick around. I think my next video will probably be me doing the tandem read for Throne of Glass. I'm very excited to see how that goes. And yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, then stick around, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye!